Yeah, good morning. How you doing? Looking like a little breakout here. Nice, dude. This looked like a kind of a nice entry right here. Did you get it on this pullback? Yo, good morning, Adam. Oh, the trip was good. We didn't do any snowboarding. The snow was pretty light and icy, but got to hang out with a bunch of good people, some of my best friends, and then we cooked some lasagna, played some pool, played some darts, drank some alcohol, and now back to normal life. Thank God. But it was good, man. Max caught a nice long this morning, I'm assuming on this pullback here. I was just pulling up the charts as we were kind of approaching these highs, unfortunately, but this would have been a phenomenal entry down here. That's my assumption is Max caught it right here. Got it on the pullback? Hell yeah, dude. Now, as I turn on the charts, we'll probably start slowing down. Brr. It's getting chilly here. I don't know about you guys, but it's getting cold here. Around 640. Nice. Max, you might want to check out, I don't know if you remember, but Fabio Valentini, he's the guy, I sent you videos of him a while back, and Andrea Chimi, their order flow platform just launched. So I'm kind of going back and forth on it, whether or not I want to get it. I definitely want to try it, but they haven't come out with a monthly plan yet. So I'm going to wait for the monthly plan to come out and then try it. Because right now, I think the smallest amount of time you can subscribe for is quarterly, and then 6 month, and then yearly. It looks pretty slick. So I'm going to wait for it to come out with a monthly plan, and then I'll give it a shot. But it will end up being a little bit pricey because you got to pay for the platform, then you got to pay for data. So I haven't actually done like a really good cost analysis on it. I was just going to wait for that monthly plan to come out, but it's pretty much got everything and more that I would want. It's got the big trades. It's got a really nice fixed volume profile that I really like the way they kind of designed the aesthetics of it. We'll let Mars in. Seeing a little bit of top heaviness on this candle. As we approach these levels again, I'm watching to see if we get rejected, and I'm gonna go get Mars here in a second, but yeah. looking a little top heavy. I'm just, I might be down, just try a little scalp to potentially just a retrace down into, let's say 24,710 or something like that. I'm gonna take it easy. We do have a short trading week. All right, wasn't getting a lot of follow through there, so I'm gonna grab Mars. I'll be right back. Come on, Mars. Come out here, bud. Come on. You wanna come out here, Mars? Come on. Come on. You wanna come out here? All right, sit there. Might be down try again here. I just don't know how far it's going to pull back and what we're doing. I'm just kind of reading that we're top heavy on this candle. We have a, kind of butting our heads up against there. We got buying that's not following through. Looking like at the very least we got to pull back. So probably just sell it going into these buy orders. Looked like maybe that was a quick retrace. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching it at this area as well. Right now, I don't know if the momentum, if this sort of long momentum is gonna carry through, or if we're pushing back on it right now. So I'm just playing what I see on this candle. It's 76 there, Adam. Holy shit. Well, I guess that's kind of to be expected, huh? Looking like momentum is slowing down. Obviously, that could change if we, have some buyers that step in, but kind of looking like we might be revisiting these areas down here since momentum is slowing down. Kind of want to see what happens here at 24,700. All right, I'm going to go in short again. I'm going to probably give this a little bit more time since we keep revisiting these lower prices, see if we can bust through this 24,700. Maybe I can hold it for a deeper pullback. Yo, good morning. Gavin, how you doing, brother? So kind of looked like we were ping-ponging back and forth between 24/7, this like 750-ish and 700. We were kind of going back and forth, and it looked like we were kind of banging our head against the ceiling. Candle ended up getting top heavy, and then 3 times within the matter of this 5-minute candle, we kind of tried to break this 24,700 low. Looks like we broke it. Let's see if we're going to be just pulling back to continue higher, or if we're going to actually do a meaningful pullback. It was looking like more of a meaningful pullback to me, at least, because after we broke this high, we just didn't have the buying interest that you'd anticipate after breaking that level. So let's see if I can hold this. If I can hold this for either a deeper pullback to this value area high, potentially this gap down here, or VWAP. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. 1, 2, 3 potential areas that we could pull back to. I will be watching this low we just established here. 24,670. Looks like we have a little bit of a floor here. It didn't look super meaningful, so if we start moving up from here, might just cut it off early. It looked kind of just like we started moving up from that area without a lot of warning. Look like we might come back down. So I was hoping we weren't going to have a lot of drama in this area. I was kind of hoping that we would kind of push through and keep moving with the momentum, at least to one of these areas. But we kind of stopped on a dime down here without a lot of warning, except for just a little bit of passive buying around 24,670. Kind of hovering up here right now. If this doesn't move down quickly, I think I'm gonna probably hop out early. Might get an opportunity. Let's say it breaks this high again without momentum. We'll probably be revisiting lower prices, but right now I guess I'm just not sure. We could be grinding, up like this. Looking to me like this area is going to pop. So I've got this in. I'll probably just leave my stops in, and if this area pops, hopefully my stop is wide enough to sort of withstand that, and then we can go for another retrace. Yes, indeed. Grindy price action is not my favorite. So, we are digging in this gap. And there's quite a bit of room up here. So this grindy price action might kind of continue until we fulfill, filling this gap. The momentum could continue pushing upward. And, off of this kind of initial move, seeing that we're lacking momentum, might have to discount that sort of price action if we are grindy. Otherwise, we're going to be thinking it's going to get weak after breaking every high when it's really just kind of pulling back. Seeing some absorption up here, but it might be more of an indication of kind of distributed aggressive buying more than significant passive selling. I don't know if that will make sense, but if I pull this up, you see how this is kind of all spread out up here? I would probably read this as potentially, we got some spread out passive sellers here, but I think more significantly what it is, we don't have super strong levels for aggressive buyers, but kind of a more consistent and spread out, evenly distributed aggressive buying. I'll scroll down to this low that sent us higher. It was on this candle right here. In volume, it didn't seem super significant. But immediately following that, you could see we just had some spread out aggressive buying. So maybe more than anything, it just wasn't super... nothing in these past two candles have been super significant. These highs look like they're weak, so I could see us pushing up above. Now this candle here, had a couple of things. We had strong selling and strong buying at the top of this candle with rejection, which usually I like to see before reversing, but you can see we kind of did the same thing here. So maybe just not a whole lot of significance in what I'm seeing in volume just yet. Ideal, would be is if we push down really hard and find ourselves some passive sellers, or, pushing up here and finding we can't move above this. So, again, was kind of hoping that I would get in this trade and we could have at the very least a nice pullback to the value area high. Just below that, we have this gap right here. Strong buying in here, so I might be looking long if we get down here, and then we have VWAP right here. So a couple of different, actually 3 different levels that I'm watching for this. Unfortunately, looks like we got a little bit of consolidating to do. Two short days this week. I actually haven't verified there are 2. Let me check. Oh, yeah. Thursday and Friday. Yep, that makes sense. All right, 24,750. Let's see how price reacts around here. And if we do pop this level, watching the top end of whatever candle that is as well. Man, I can't believe how fast this year's gone by. We're already at Thanksgiving. Max, do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving? I mean, it's probably not normal for a lot of your peers over there to celebrate Thanksgiving, but I know you lived over here for a while too. Yeah. You'll have some turkey though? Nice, dude. Yeah, I think we're gonna cook we're gonna do turkey and stuffing and green bean casserole and broccoli and cheese casserole and some mashed potatoes and gravy. I definitely can't pass up a good Thanksgiving cookout. And usually, it's my favorite, one of my favorite holidays to be with the rest of my family with in Austin. But we're gonna go to Austin over Christmas, so we're just gonna do Thanksgiving here. And a lot of times my friends like to do Friendsgiving and stuff and just get together with a bunch of friends. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I want to do that this year. I might just want to chill with my girlfriend, the animals. Like we've had so many birthdays and stuff to go to, and it's like whenever we do that, obviously you can control what you do when you're hanging out with your friends. But I'm just kind of over drinking alcohol right now. I don't want to drink any alcohol. It like really messes me up for 2 days, and of course I love seeing my friends and stuff, but I just, I like not drinking. It's great. Yeah, probably just the two of us. I know that my friends will want to get together and stuff, and maybe we will for a little bit, but I just don't want to make it a big deal. Maybe if we drop by for an hour or two. My friends tend to get a little bit rowdy and use any excuse they can to party, and I don't blame them. I like having fun too. I'm just kind of over drinking alcohol right now. And of course, it makes it more difficult, if you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are doing it. I can have self-control, but usually I don't want to if I'm hanging out with my friends, and then I end up kind of regretting it for 2 days. We were out in the mountains this past weekend, and the snow is kind of shitty, so we actually didn't end up snowboarding. So, we did some cooking, did some drinking, played some pool, played some darts. It was great seeing my friends, but I'm paying for it now. Yeah. But in any case, I am looking forward to some good Thanksgiving food. That's one thing I love all kinds of food, but Thanksgiving food, it's the indulgent of foods. All the stuff I like. Casseroles and potatoes and gravy, turkey and stuffing, all that stuff. I love it. And pies. Oh, jeez. So you already got that temptation for sure. And that's a temptation I'm 100% going to give into every single year. There's no doubt about it. Thanksgiving, I'm gonna make like any sort of dietary, restrictions or restraint that I have goes out the window on Thanksgiving, and that's okay. But when I'm in Austin, man, So, well, my brother's wife has a really phenomenal family out there, and my family it's just my brother and my mom, but the extended family of my sister-in-law, very big, very very friendly, and they celebrate holidays huge. So their place might have 24 people out there, and then the amount of food and variety of foods they have is insane. So it's like if I'm not having to recover for having a hangover, I'm recovering so I can digest so much food. It's ridiculous. If I can get a picture of the spread that they have, I will, so I can show you guys. But it's a really good time. My sister-in-law's family, they have a really great house for hosting, where they have a backyard with a pool and pickleball and like four-wheelers to like ride around the property and stuff. So I have a really good time when I go out there, but I'm going to save it for Christmas this year. Dude, you got to get your stomach ready for a week before. That's for sure, man. And I'm all for it. And it's just really great to see family, especially if you're somebody that like lives a little bit, I live far away. If I'm driving to Texas, it takes about 20 hours. If I fly there, obviously no big deal, an hour and a half flight or something like that. But even still, being in a different state, or in some people's case, different country from their family, it's really great to be able to get together on the holidays. And I need to visit Austin more often, because I think I've mentioned this before on stream, but if you do the math of like how often you see your family and how long people are going to live, you've really like, if you only see your family on the holidays, you think about it like once or twice a year, on the low side, let's say once a year. And then let's say your family lives for another 20 years or something like that. And I know that's probably on the low end, but if you're talking about your mom, like my mom, maybe she's got like 15, 20 years left. And if that's the case, does that mean I'm going to see my mom 15 more times? That's not a great realization. What's up, Brandon? Matt? Yeah, probably not. I'm gonna, whoever ends up joining the stream can join the stream. And I've been analyzing Thanksgiving, not the charts, but appreciate it. Sounds good, Max. Nice trade, brother. Have a good day. Looks like we got a little top heavy on this last candle. Anticipating a push down, but I'm just not sure if this is going to fall out of this range and keep moving down. If we're going to keep pressing up against this ceiling up here, so might end up closing this early. We'll just see how it starts looking. But let me show you guys how it looked on that previous candle up here. Just looked, we had some absorption going on. Again, it wasn't like one level being hammered. This level, is decently strong as a signal of passive sellers, but not crazy. But you could see that we had, kind of a consistent aggressive buying happening at this level. So considering we've continued to do that at spread out levels on the top side of these candles, it's looking like we could potentially break out of this level. And I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But right at this moment, not looking phenomenal. Like we lost momentum to the upside on after this move, which definitely made me question, a continuation long. But then we kind of just are sitting here consolidating, looking like it's top heavy, but really it's kind of spread out. So we're not seeing a hyper aggressive seller. Looking a little lackluster. I do think I could probably get maybe a push down. Let's say we pop this level. I'm thinking I could probably get a deep pullback after that, potentially a reversal. Unfortunately, though, it's not clear yet. And the move I was in Was supposed to be more of an immediate pullback or reversal, not a consolidation. So I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if I had to get out of this early. I'll probably give it this candle if we don't start. Well, this candle, maybe one more candle if we don't start moving down. Might just get out of this early and not let it hit this stop up here. Consistent buying happening over here, you can see. Looks like this level 24,750, you know, is kind of the level to watch. See if we're going to hold below it or just kind of bust through it. So it kind of looks like we're getting, you know, I wouldn't even say rejected up here, because we can see the presence of, you know, orders being hit at 24,750 aggressively, but it looks kind of soft, you know, like we got price kind of violating that area, moving up, so we could see a squeeze up here. Not a whole ton of clarity, but let's say we are grinding. Oh, setting up your work PC, nice, dude. You're about to create your zone, man. What do you got on your desk there? Yeah, that's your money making zone, bro. It's important. See how we pulled back and immediately pushed up? You know, if I was not in this, I mean, I shouldn't use that as an excuse. I should probably just close this trade because it looks like we're going to pop at the very least, and then I'll have to reanalyze. I might just do that. It's like a cater table, but will work. Cool. You gotta set yourself up for success on that work table. That's the money printing table. Well, let's put it this way: it's the job table plus the money making table. All right, so a little bit of absorption up there. You know, that might have been the pop of the area. We might be going for a retrace now. I'm kind of watching order flow right now if I'm going to hop back in or if I think this is going to squeeze. Yeah, man, you gotta just double up, have your work computer. You can probably just does your monitor have two HDMI inputs? I'm gonna give it a shot. It looks like we kind of hit a potential ceiling up there. Let's see. Even if your monitor, like if your monitor just has one input, you can, yeah, you could even just get an HDMI switch from Amazon for like probably like $7 or something like that. Where if you wanted to just have your PC and your work computer set up to the same monitor, you just basically hit a button and then it'll switch the input, even if your monitor has one input. 24770, you can see right here. Ideal scenario is like this is the beginning of stair stepping this price down. I'll take a stab right there. If we keep moving up kind of like this, we might just kind of consider that we're going to be grinding, and any of these kind of pullbacks slash rejections that we see up top maybe shouldn't be taken as meaningful because it's essentially just price being controlled. Might need to just kind of consider that we're going to be grinding and staying on the long side of things if we continue to have this kind of price action. Yeah. So if you look at these pullbacks and let's see how it's supported. It looks like it's bouncing off like immediately from whatever pullbacks it has, which means it's going to be difficult to catch a pullback. If I'm trying to take this short, even if it starts looking weak, that's one of the things that can get you chopped up. Is that okay? If we're looking at Delta, everything's kind of moving in the positive direction. So this weakness that we're seeing really flip your entry. If you're thinking it looks weak, then unless we see something really significant happen, then probably just going to flip my bias to be looking longs. Like you can see here, like let me pull this down. You can see here, it's like we're just continuing to push through these levels that look like they're holding price down, but they're, at least as of right now, they haven't been. They've kind of just getting blown through on the top side. So looking at all this buying happening, might be more wise to be looking at whenever we do pull back. So let's be patient, wait for it to pull back, and then go long instead of trying to take the pullback move. Looks like we might squeeze from here potentially. We're above that 24,800 as well. Yeah, just kind of grindy, Gavin. So trying to look for weakness in this might be a moot point. Definitely a tricky thing on days like today where you have a strong move up and then you're starting to see some weakness and consolidation, but it's like it's part of this grindy price action that's going to continue going up. So looking like we could squeeze this area and then maybe just need to chill, watch, and reassess what's going on. Back down to 24,800. Thinking we could bounce off this 24,800, go back up to the highs of this candle, but I don't know. Let's see if this ends up pulling back. I guess we could see a revisit down here and then maybe look for longs. Keep pressing down on 24,800, but it looks like we might be squeezing after that. Gavin, you're saying failure to make new high and just making an order block. Yeah, so I don't know. For are you considering an order block just a retracement? Usually when I'm looking at order blocks, it's I don't know. I haven't looked at the 1 minute, so maybe on the 1 minute it is, but at least on the 5 minute, we haven't had a red close yet. All right, it might be. If this doesn't start pushing up higher pretty quickly, we might be in for a little bit of consolidation, potentially a pullback. So 24,770 is kind of really the area that I want to be in at down here. But if we kind of like slide right through that area, then might be looking for that pullback down to these lower levels that I was watching earlier. Looking decent for a squeeze, but might be short-lived. Oh, this sounds like it's going to be a bad song. Might just end up waiting until we hit one of these lower prices. It does look like we could squeeze from this area, but lots of just kind of selling starting to pick up. Yeah, probably just gonna chill, wait for these lower prices. I don't know what we're doing here. So, Gavin, what do you think of Arc Raiders? Tell me about it. One thing I love about Arc Raiders is the the punishing of the punishing nature of the PvP and getting to loot people. Probably not right at this second, but maybe in a little bit. Yeah, for sure, dude. Maybe I can hold this. Let's see. I'll break even on it. Looks like he's gonna break me even. I did get a little bit off of that, not much. Yeah, for me, I don't know if this is gonna be worth it. Looks like we're kind of slowed down. We're kind of grindy. If I can catch a short, I might be interested in that. But otherwise, I don't know if I'm gonna be interested in trying to catch this long. Might have to give this a couple tries. It's looking like this gap might have a hard time supporting this price, but we'll see. I'm gonna give this a couple tries, I think. Watching here, just see if we continue to get stuck up here at this area, because we are revisiting it, and I don't know if we continue this grindy price action. Then if I think I'm not interested in doing the grindy way up. I'm more interested in taking a quick pullback, kind of scalp, but obviously riskier. Coming up. I like that. Oh, geez. Come on.
I literally take everything and make it my private game.
Can't. All right, looking at you here. Looking like we could continue going up. I was hoping we were gonna start falling after this retrace right here. So again, trying to take this short is definitely riskier, but if we do have a violent pullback, I want to be a part of it. Looking like we might be building up to squeeze long, unfortunately. So maybe a little more patience and we can get a retrace. But if you're looking to stay safe, you might want to be just trading long. $24,800. Again, let's see if we can get rejected here. Yeah. Looking like the grind is more in play than a deep pullback. Yeah, this music's killing me this morning. Yeah, I might have to wait for, I don't know, maybe it's the PM session. We'll get a drop or something like that, but I'm not feeling the longs. I'm not, obviously not feeling these shorts either. So might just have to wait, chill, See if I can catch something. But you know, we keep rejecting off of these gaps, and order flow is bullish, but when it looks weak, it just doesn't have any sort of significance because we just reject off of these gaps. So that being said, like if you're into taking, you know, this grindy price action, you probably just need to stay long. Looking like there's kind of a bullish shift since last Friday. Look at that big boy. I mean, it looks like we did fill that gap and then just kind of bounce off of that. Fill this gap. Let's scroll back a little bit, see if I can see anything. Wanting to go short in this gap, but maybe 25K will bring us something. But as of right now, it's like we're kind of just grinding, and it's not going to be for me at least, a great day for trying to trade this pullback. Because to me, it's like what I am anticipating is like, you know, that we're going to come back maybe to here, maybe all the way down here, but it's going to be tough to time because you got to try and call that top. We're just running right now. God, man, I feel like I've been missing a lot of these moves where they just start, you know, they're one directional because I've been trying to take plays off of perceived weakness. Gavin, you're done for the day. Okay, copy that, man. Yeah. I feel you, man. I'll probably like, I don't know if I want to be patient all day for a short. Maybe if I can just get like a nice scalp or something, I can just kind of like reset. Adam. Well, I did have a mental scientific breakthrough, and that's to stop trying to short this fucking thing. It'll probably go short now. I mean, I don't know. I probably just have to watch for a little bit and chill. I mean, I got the itch to go short on a day like today, and that's not probably not going to be productive. My eye just gets drawn down to these areas. But looks like we just want to dig deeper up into this. Yeah. Trying to see, like, you know, if we look back at what happened pre-market, you know, where the turning point for this was. We swept a low here, closed this gap, bounced down here, broke above VWAP, had some strength. I don't know. Was wanting to see like these prices get revisited, but you know, market doesn't care about what you want. It's gonna do what it wants. I think maybe I just need to wait for one of these pullback areas, 24,800. I don't know. You know, after we've made this many legs up, it definitely makes me a little weary that we could start pulling back heavy, and maybe that move that I was wanting is going to happen. If we're running out of steam up here, might just have to be okay with that. This previous candle, looking like at the top end. You know, every candle that's been looking like that, it just looks like it might be building up, you know, buying at the top end instead of, you know, passive sellers being up there. Cause it's not sticking to one level. It's really just being spread out. Let me see. The last time we did that, 24,830 was, you know, where it was looking like it could be potentially, gonna get pushed down from, but we just blasted through it. So I think until we see something really sort of happen that's an anomaly, probably just need to chill. Let's see how much this was. 122. See, again, it's like normally I'd be looking at this and thinking like, okay, we could be getting a week up here, but it hasn't been doing that. It's really just blasting through these levels. think we need some inspirational music. Man, that's what I searched for inspiration on. This is what we get. We get Britney Spears. Copyright free Britney Spears.
Holding my head again, making my way through crowded thoughts.
I'm gonna switch the
Get out of it.
from this art list to Epidemic. Yeah, that's the thing. We haven't been testing lower prices at all, so there's no floor here that I see. Well, I guess right here. Let me see how significant that is. 830. This is probably the area. 830. So maybe a pullback into here, you could get a scalp or something, but I don't know, man. This is taking this grindy price action is tough because it's grinding, but it doesn't look like super strong. It just looks like it's grinding. So it's tough. I mean, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think today's gonna be a great day for me. Cause I mean, I say it all the time. This kind of grindy price action kind of gets me. I don't know. I mean, you can see what I'm seeing right here. We got strong buyers. We had strong sellers here. We have strong sellers here that hold, and then it bounced from that area. So I don't know. And then no floors down in this area either. So just kind of, it's grindy. If you wanna hop in long and take this kind of slow motion action, you can. At areas like this, for me, that's where I would want to be long in areas like this, where we do a quick pullback and we've just breaking a new high, and we're showing that we're not gonna continue selling. Then you have the potential to get a quick squeeze move up. But then as we start doing this is when I stop getting interested in taking a position. Oh, man. So you were looking for bounces off the simple moving average today, right? In confluence with RSI. Did you have anything set up along here? You've been trying to focus on the market talking you out of a trade? Well, what do you mean there? Let's see. To be honest with you, I chose 15 minutes opening range breakout this morning because no validation on the trade. Opening range breakout probably would have worked out pretty well. Well, we had that pullback, but yeah, that would have worked out. Opening range breakout. You could still be holding that, to be honest. Let's see. And when you say I want the market to talk me out of the trade, I want to give me valid reasons as to why I should take the trade. Okay. When I say I want the market to talk me out of the trade, I want to give me valid reasons as to why I should take the trade. The market talks you out of it. You don't. All right, you're just saying you want to have evidence. You want the market to give you evidence to get in or get out of the trade, get out of a trade. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Okay. Check Discord. I'm in there. Okay, I see that. I don't really know what you got going on there. You have different simple moving averages on there or something? Yeah, I mean, so like if you look at the opening range breakout, you could still be holding. But I have a feeling the RSI was not in confluence. For an entry on that. If you're doing SMA plus RSI. This is one of those candles that looks like it's weak. Looks like we're going down. We had some absorption that happened on the top end. It looks meaningful enough to me that I'm going to take a stab at going short. 24,875, and this will probably be my last attempt at going short. It looks strong enough to take a short. And I'll give it to the top 24,882. But yeah, so it looks like RSI wouldn't be matching up, but the opening range, if you took the opening range breakout, which you said you were looking for, what did you end up taking that trade or not? So I'll show you what I'm looking at here that I saw that looked strong enough to take a stab at taking a short, either for a pullback or a potential reversal here. We might retest it, but here, if you look at up here, right here, strong selling, strong buying, price being stopped right here. And these numbers right here are more significant than anything else we've seen on the way up. So this will be my last attempt trying to short this shit. And we'll see what's up. You took it. You're up 500. Copy that. $24,875 was the level that got rejected up here. All right, let's see. We're approaching that 24875 again. Let's see what happens. Wait, whoa. You might have to explain that a little more. You were watching this guy who does looks maxing, wants to achieve the best look, and this fool does meth, bone crushing, and other stuff. What is bone crushing? I think I need to understand what that is. What is bone crushing? He crushes his own bones for the scar tissue, or what? Yeah, looks maxing. This is also another term I'm not familiar with. I guess I'm familiar with the concept, but I've never heard looks maxing. And he does meth and bone crushing. Dude, most people that I've seen, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody in real life that like at least on a regular basis that does meth. But the people that I've seen, at least on TV, where they or on social media, where they do the comparison of like before meth and after meth, it looks like looks minning, like that makes people look like shit. He takes some meth for hollow cheeks. Oh my god, people are idiots. I'm gonna get addicted to some of the most addictive drugs on the planet, so that you can have hollow cheeks. Oh man. He'll maybe he'll look he'll get his hollow cheeks and for like a week or something, and then he'll just have scabs all over his face and shit. It has willpower. Oh man. Sounds like he's got a lot of willpower if he's doing meth and bone crushing for his looks and not just eating right and doing healthy activities. What an idiot! If somebody wants to do meth, then do meth. But if you want to do meth and bone crushing for looks, you're a fucking idiot. He's 19. Oh my gosh, dude. Bone crushing. Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to look up bone crushing, because that to me maybe sounds a little more idiotic than meth. So even though I got that sort of top heavy candle, I think it was this one right here, the top heavy candle, we got some absorption. It looked significant enough to try this short. I still don't know Okay, so let's say we are pulling back. We might only pull back to like 24,840. We might only pull back to like 24,820. So that's definitely a risk, you know, you take going against a trend like this. Even if you have, let's say, a high probability pullback, you don't know you don't know when, the market's going to have, or, you have participants that enter the market that are just surprised. That's as far as you're going on this pullback. So that being said, I think the real meaningful stop is up here. But once you get a lot of follow through with a move, it's probably worth it just to make sure you cover your ass, to put like a break even in. So right now, I don't think we've pushed down to the lows hard enough for me to, justify like a real tight stop or anything like that. I think the real stop is up here. But if we get a quick flush, probably going to consider taking half profit at the very least and putting in a break even on a move like this. And this, taking moves like this is, the riskiest thing you could do on days like today. But I feel more comfortable, at least on this one, catching a short than us having 1, 2, 3, 4 legs up and trying to wait down here as I'm seeing weakness up top. So I don't know. To each their own. Everybody's got to do what they, feel comfortable with as a trader. I just, if we end up blasting through this area, I'll probably just stop for the day. $24,880. Retesting 24,880. Let's see. Getting spread out aggressive buying up here. It's kind of like when I see that spread out aggressive buying, to me it's like it's not giving me. It's kind of like if you're playing a game and you got a machine gun and you're just kind of spraying it. Eventually, this level might get taken out. So you can see we got rejected up here at 24,880 again, but you can also see that we keep bouncing up and trying to test it. So not I think yeah, if I get stopped out of this, I might just quit because I am seeing that there's evidence that we're gonna pull back or go down, and then we're kind of denying it. It looks like he wants to take it out, and sometimes you what you're looking for, and price action is not going to work on that day. And really, one of the best things you can do in trading is recognize when it's not going to work, so that you can, prevent more damage from happening. So if we do break out of this area, I'm probably just going to chill, take it easy for the rest of the day. No more trading. I don't want to start my Thanksgiving week off with a stupid loss. And again, it's like, look, like if you can, here, let me share this. Looks like it wants to squeeze and it's going to pop my stop, but just to show you what I'm looking at over here, this, I was watching that 24,880 and it looked like we did have some passive sellers that just got squeezed out. So that might be it. I might have to just call it, because what I'm trying is not working and the market's kind of just grinding, and that's not ideal for me. Man, I feel like I've had a lot of these days lately where I'm just like, I need to, like if I was on early, maybe that would have prevented some of this bias from happening. Because when you're able to catch a move early, like seeing this, my reaction would have been like, oh damn, okay, this is breaking out. So if you look at the overnight highs here, us having this strong price action coming out of here, my initial thought would have been like, we're breaking out. And if we're breaking out, the best thing you can do in a scenario like this, especially right off the open, is say, okay, well, are we blasting off, or are we going to pull back? And we pull back like this, and then you get a rejection off of this area like this. That's the entry. That's the good entry. And I've been missing a lot of these early entries. And then it can mess up your, the way you trade after that, because then I'm looking for weakness as opposed to getting verified strength. So even though this doesn't look strong, you can see that we reject off of this gap. You can see that we reject at a higher low here, and then we end up breaking out again. So that would be my takeaway for today. Is unfortunately, I just, after being kind of exhausted from the mountains this weekend, got an early start, missed this initial breakout move, and it kind of changed my take on what I'm looking for today, as opposed to just kind of really looking at this as strength and breaking out and then trying to get confirmed strength rather than kind of passive weakness at these top levels. Yeah, I think I'll just end it there. If I end up going red, who knows what I'll do? Who knows? I'll start seeing red. Mondays are just kind of shit for me. I don't know. At least they have been. Probably like the last 2 months, Mondays are naughty. And so better not push it. So now that we've had 2 bullish days, one Friday, one today. Let me take a look at the higher time frame. Probably best to do this at the end of the day, but pretty big run up today. I mean, we got a lot of volatility still in the market, which is great. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we start flipping the script a little bit. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't know. Maybe the end of today or tomorrow we start seeing some real weakness. I could see us coming up to 25,000. I'm watching right now. What the hell's going on right now? Is it getting weak right now? It's probably just fake weakness. Gotta love it when like I'm not going to take any more trades today, so I got get that out of the way. But gotta love it when that's what you're looking for in all this price action, and then when you want to shut down the stream and stop trading, it makes the move. I really like it when that happens. Let's take a look at gold. Bitcoin under 90K. I was talking to some people about Bitcoin this weekend, and everybody that's kind of like a mainstream, the investor or whatever. I was actually hanging out with quite a few successful, really successful people that have had a lot of them actually in tech sales. So I was hanging out with one. A lot of VP level guys, a couple C level guys. One was a VP at Salesforce. It's a big company, but a lot of people that are they invest, and they're talking about Bitcoin and just asking for opinions. What do I think is going to happen with the Bitcoin? And just like with any market, you don't know what the hell is going to happen. But what I did say was that with Bitcoin, I see it as being a vehicle, in the future for the United States to position itself for, obviously like BlackRock is pretty heavy in Bitcoin. But just like all markets, and Bitcoin being, an investment vehicle that has less regulation than anything historically that could make this big of an impact. And I was just talking, I was essentially just saying, I just would be careful with it, because everybody wants to buy the dip, and I think there's a good opportunity to buy the dip, but it also is wide open for manipulation. And just like any market like this, when you have the ability to manipulate it and you have huge interest in it, like the United States and BlackRock and anybody who wants to take advantage of volatile moves, you have the risk of it shaking people out of leveraged positions so that they can scoop up their position. And something like Bitcoin, you have a limited amount of it. And so, I don't know. Basically, I was saying, I think, if you're looking at it as a long-term investment and you're not highly leveraged in it, look at it as a, dollar cost average situation where you can buy the dip. But I just wouldn't be too confident on being able to call the low of Bitcoin, because I think it could potentially go a lot lower. I could be completely wrong, and it could, maybe it bounces from here. But I think that a lot of people who are looking at it, looking at Bitcoin as a longer term like investment vehicle, are seeing, oh shit, it's under 100K. I better buy it now. Better buy the dip, and I better buy it hard. And for those people who really go lean into it like super hard at these dips, they have the potential of, getting shaken out of their position if we do see, Bitcoin go much lower. So for the people looking at it in investments, I think that, like, yeah, sure, buy the dip, get your, dollar cost average down, but don't go so heavy in it that you don't have room to buy the next dip and the next dip. Just like anything. I mean, you can't go all in on any one trade. I think crypto in general is a currency, but it will be some type of government created and backed. Yeah, digital currency in general is where the government wants to go to, and universally accepted as well. And Bitcoin fits the bill for that. And I don't know that the government's going to be able to create anything that has more inherent value than the Bitcoin. But so in any case, all speculation on crypto. But you've always had the stance that AI is more significant than crypto. Yeah, 100%. AI is more significant, but I think the difference is that AI, as an industry, is spread amongst many companies that are leveraging AI, whereas crypto is not as spread out. I think the value that you'll see in crypto in the future, yeah, you have other coins that are going to be valuable, but I mean, Bitcoin clearly leads the pack. We were also talking about well, one of the things I think is going to happen right now is we got like Tesla leading the pack in technology right now. Well, sorry, Nvidia, but Tesla's had some huge gains, and I think they're going to continue to have some huge gains. And I think what's going to happen, and for people who aren't following it, it'll be a huge surprise the amount that Tesla, the amount of value that Tesla is going to hold in the future, because I think autonomous driving is about to get smashed by Tesla. Because you think about this. Tesla has the ability to create vehicle fleets. They don't have the overhead of having to pay drivers, and they have the fastest growing AI technology, XAI, backing the technology of the vehicles right now. And I think it's going to be a huge hit to Uber, a huge hit to Lyft, and what is it? Waymo? Is that the name of it? Yeah. So anyway, I think it's going to be a huge impact to that industry and transportation in general when given that sort of AI backbone. Again, fastest growing AI company right now, and as it relates to how it tests, Grok. I tend to like Grok is from a testing standpoint is the fastest growing right now. Obviously, OpenAI has a huge piece of the AI market, and Google is doing some pretty phenomenal things with Gemini, but Grok is the fastest growing because they have right now the biggest investment in AI infrastructure and data centers than any of the other companies. And I think Elon Musk is going to continue to invest in it. Yeah, you think Trump is just promoting this stuff so that fam and others can profit for it? Uncle Trump doing that for his family members, that's pretty tight. Gotta say. This AI stuff, though, you disagree with Elon on money will be irrelevant because you think your society would be very high risk of collapse. You were talking about job security. I disagree with Elon on money will be relevant. Well, look, so like if you're looking at artificial intelligence as a new sector in technology, it's the fastest growing sector. What you're talking about is the economic impact of artificial intelligence, which gets too much to type. Yeah, probably. But the it's very, very clear. So if you're looking at the long-term efficacy of AI as it relates to like GDP versus the economy versus job security, they're all very intertwined, but also different conversations. AI, I mean, is here to stay. He said money in the near future will be irrelevant, and I'm not a fan of that at all. Yeah, obviously there'd have to be a huge shift in the way our economy works in general. If we're talking about the impact of money and there being inherent, essentially, like if you're looking at it like the utopian from like the utopian sort of perspective that like, okay, well, money's going to become less relevant because we're going to be so efficient at making these products that it's going to decrease. I mean, there's all sorts of trickle down effects of what such an exponential difference in efficiency would do to our economy. But there's also a lot of differences in the way wages work if we're creating value out of with a lot less human labor. I don't know. Maybe it's a discussion for another day, but it's a really interesting one. And in any case, we were talking about the impact of AI, crypto on the current market, and who the hell knows like what's going to happen in the long term. But what I do know is that markets will take dips and they will be manipulated, and just when you think it's at its lowest, I would say be prepared for more low. You think Elon Musk is living in a fantasy land by thinking that money is going to become less relevant in the future? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I mean, that's what capitalism is all about. But I think there is going to have to be a huge shift, and there's going to have to be a huge shift because if you take away human labor and you get more efficiency, that puts like an inverse relationship on human labor and value. Oh man, look at this. Look at this thing just taunting me. Sure, I think it's dangerous, but I think it's a reality that we're going to live in. And there's no stopping it now. If AI takes jobs, what do people? Yeah, I mean, it's a very complicated, I think, discussion. I think, yeah, I think whether we are for that or against it, I think it's a reality we have to face because it's happening. AI is not going away. But yeah, what you do from, like a labor standpoint, an economic standpoint, what you do about this right now. The only thing that companies can do right at this moment is embrace it. But for the long term, like what do we do about displacing that many jobs and devaluing human labor? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you do about what you do about it in the long term. But what I do know is that if you're a company and you're not leveraging AI right now, you're going to be left in the dust. You're going to get squashed. Greedy corporations taking out all their workforce. Well, it's different. It's kind of like you can't take out all the workforce right now, but if you're not shifting and encouraging your workers to leverage AI, you will get left in the dust. You won't be able to compete with the companies that are doing it. This looks like it's getting weak right now. I said I'm not going to take any more trades, so I'm not going to, but we're looking weak. Yeah, no, I totally get it. I totally get it. It's a deep discussion, but I think it's probably on most people's minds right now because AI is everywhere. Yeah, I mean, and Elon's not the he's going to be one of the most impactful as it relates to this because he's creating autonomous driving. He's got AI, bots, and he's going to have one of the biggest AI companies in the world. But it also a lot of the impact of this will pivot around how companies leverage AI for their companies, not just the technology itself. Yeah, way more people involved. But I'll be honest. My honest opinion is there's probably that Elon Musk is probably the most responsible person out there as it relates to technology leaders in the space. I mean, he's been talking about the and so maybe just to back up just a second. When you're talking about Elon's perspective of the future as it relates to AI, he's been one of the biggest skeptics as it relates to the impact of AI and it being a threat to humanity. Sorry, not so. Let's flip that. He has been one of the biggest skeptics as it relates to being only positive about the net impact of AI on humanity. Yeah, well, man, I think people are allowed to change their opinion, but as far as I know, I don't think he's changed his opinion on the dangers that AI can pose to humanity. And Gavin, I might be down to hop on there in a little bit. I'm gonna watch this just for a little bit, but I might be down to hop on there. Okay, cool. Sounds good, Gavin. Well, yeah. So, I mean, I get that. One of the things that Elon Musk is essentially saying is that, and this, maybe there's a conflict of interest in here, but what he's saying is that essentially that artificial intelligence, with the rate of improvement and capabilities in the wrong hands, artificial intelligence could destroy humanity. Now, I guess what my point is that he is probably, I mean, at least based on what I know, is that he's at least claiming to be a responsible developer of artificial intelligence. Whereas if you compare that to a Google or an OpenAI, a Microsoft, I will trust Elon Musk over any of those company leaders. Yeah, dude, I see that juvenile sort of behavior too. So I'm not lost on that shit. Like some of the shit he does is like, dude, what are you, 5? And obviously he's got an ego issue because he allows shit like that to dictate how he you know might violate his own policies at these companies. So I definitely see that side of him as well. Yeah. Nobody's perfect. Elon Musk is far from perfect, but if you look at him, being the richest guy in the world, being in charge of so like the companies that he's in charge of, like it's at least from what we know, at least from what I know, I would say like I would much prefer him being in the position that he is with the companies that he has and the goals that he has. I would much rather see him in that position, even than I mean than pretty much any other corporate leader out there for sure. But even just looking at humanity's leadership, like having that kind of money, having that kind of power, having these kinds of companies, Like it could be an extremely dangerous thing inherently. But from what I've seen with it, what his at least spoken intentions are, and based on his track record, he seems to be holding the power responsibly as much as you could kind of expect from that, while also displaying some like juvenile shit that just makes you roll your eyes and be like, "What, dude? What the fuck? Like, you acting like this with being in the position you are? Come on." I could say the same thing about our president too. Oh man, for sure. Yeah, he might be the worst at it. I mean, like, sometimes you gotta watch our president for comedy. I haven't seen it, man. I have to. South Park is I think one of the funniest shows of all time. But I haven't like consistently watched South Park for a long time. Like, how many seasons are there? I, I wouldn't even be able to take a guess at it. But I've probably only seen like, I don't know, maybe like 3 seasons worth of episodes. So I missed out on quite a bit. 28 seasons. Yeah, I missed a lot. Hey, SpeedX, I appreciate you trying to reach out and collaborate. But yeah, probably not interested. I actually downloaded there's like a mobile South Park game, and I downloaded that, and I was playing that with my girlfriend the other night. We almost got to the point where we could play each other, but it's actually pretty good. I don't know if you ever played any of the South Park video games, but they're all pretty damn good. A little bit different. They're not like first person shooters or whatever, but well made, funny. Um, they don't seem like cheap like show knockoffs. They have the voices and the graphics that make it look like the cartoon, but they're all pretty good. Oh, nice, man. What is it? Is it a Dell? I would imagine Comcast has a partnership with either Dell or HP. No, like Dell. It's a Dell. Yeah. Cool, cool. Dude, you need to email your boss and tell him that to get work done efficiently, you need an RTX 5070. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, that's a nice little setup you got there. Is it a laptop? Oh, okay, cool. It's a desktop. Okay, word. That's a nice little corner setup though you got. Yeah, for sure, dude. Dude, you're gonna be a multitasking mofo. You're gonna be, you know, buying calls and taking calls simultaneously. That's gonna be so funny. Hold on one second, sir. I gotta do something real quick. I'll be right back. Apologize for the delay. Auto filled. Oh shit. Fucking A. Oh shit. Yeah. Do you know if you're gonna be doing like are you gonna be doing like chat responses to so your job, let me see if I get this straight. Your job is gonna be your job is going to be to have inbound inquiries directed to you for sales. Are they going to be current customers, or are they going to be brand new customers inquiring about, service? And they're going to be inbound, and are they going to be via chat, or are they going to be via phone, or both? Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know. To be honest, I could see it being split. This day and age, there are people that don't want to talk to people; they want to chat with people. So I could see both from like a customer standpoint. But I guess it just depends on what your job description says. If you're going to be the phone guy or the chat guy, or both. Because I feel like sales for a company like Comcast has probably changed quite a bit over the last, especially probably like 5 to 7 years, being a lot more emphasis with web chat than before. Because now, whenever I'm going on a website or doing anything that's customer service related, like I pretty much always see the company trying to direct me to chat. And you got to do a little bit more searching before you get the number. It's like, you want to chat with us right this second? Like, yeah. And a lot of times I'm down with that because a lot of times I don't want to talk to somebody. But I don't know. I mean, that would be cool, to be honest. Like, it'll be a lot less effective because sales, you're going to be a hell of a lot more effective if they get to hear you being a real person, you having, a friendly tone, all that stuff. So, I would imagine there's still going to be quite a bit of emphasis regardless of the online chat availability, a lot of emphasis from a sales perspective to get that person on the phone, even if it starts with chat. Like that's what I would want to do. Like if I was trying to do sales and somebody wanted to like chat with me, I'd be like, hey, would you be open to having a 5-minute phone call so we can be a little more efficient with figuring out whether or not we're going to be a good fit for you? That would be a hell of a lot better than trying to chat back and forth. Copy that. Yeah. That makes more sense, to be honest, from a sales perspective. And even if you're taking inbound chats, it's like your boss would probably tell you, try and get them on the phone at the very least. Basically, like any job, any sales gig I had was like my goal was to get to the next step, and the next step increased the efficacy of communication. So it was like, if I'm emailing somebody, it's to set a phone call, and once I'm on that phone call, the goal would be to meet them in person. And you wouldn't be doing that with this, but maybe it's a Zoom call or something like that. It might not even be that intense. It might just be that phone call is the final step, but that's kind of how I always looked at it, is like keep trying to push to the next step, which is a little bit more commitment on their end. Like setting a meeting on the phone is gonna make them commit just a little bit more to where they're gonna respect the time a little bit more than if they just call in. And especially if they're like, I want to think about it. Then it's like, okay, well, why don't we do this? I totally understand you need to think about it. I'd love to, follow up with you after you had some time to think about it so I can make sure I can answer any of your questions. So, would you be open to, setting up a time next week, to follow up, to make sure that you get all your questions answered and to make sure that we can actually discuss whether this is going to be a good fit rather than trying to get you to make a decision right this second. I'm stoked, dude. I would love to hear. I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe it's against your. Yeah, it probably is against your rules. I would just love to hear you get after it. You know, I want to hear some of those phone calls. I get excited by shit like that. One of the things that I'm sure you'll have proper sales training and stuff, but one of the things that is really good, especially like at a new sales job, when you gotta be good on your toes. And one of the things that was really helpful for me whenever I had a new sales gig was I would create this, like, essentially it was a wheel. Imagine like a circle, and you have at the opposite and the reason for it being a wheel is because you can at any given time see what you're trying to do is you're trying to combat, I guess, excuses. Like if somebody says, well, just as an easy example, the cost is too high. Well, instead of like scrolling, like looking at a sheet, maybe you've created a spreadsheet where it's like cost too high. What is your response? Kind of like, and this is kind of like I find that this is helpful at the beginning, and eventually you'll be able to just nail it. You'll have the exact response you want for that, like the cost is too high. But this wheel, so it's like up here you have the cost is too high. Let's say it's just on the left side. Well, on the opposite side, it's the response. So you're not having to like go through, here. It's more of like, here's the wheel and then go to the opposite side. It makes it more, I guess, intuitive when you're responding, because you'll get to know where it is, like a clock dial. And then you'll have, oh, the cost is too high here. Opposite side is the response. Or up here, you'll have like, I don't have time to figure this out right now. And then maybe your response is, oh, well, like, I want to respect your time. So when would be a good time to revisit this? And so on and so forth. You'll nail that down. But having that in front of you, like at your desk, will make you infinitely better at taking those kinds of responses. Because instead of trying to fumble around with whatever you come up with in the meantime, you basically have a guideline, like a script, basically, that you've pre-thought out that says, if they object with this is the absolute best way to handle that to get to the next step. So I found that to be really, really helpful for new jobs, that like essentially you think about any sort of obstacle that could get in your way for achieving what you want to achieve, which is either, sign paperwork or, set an appointment, set a meeting to where you can close the deal. And you have that laid out as kind of a map. Think about it like in trading as your setups. This is a setup. So anytime you get an objection, it's an opportunity. The objection, leads you to lead them in the right direction, if that makes sense. That was really helpful for me. I'm sure you're gonna have proper sales training that's gonna give you all kinds of good shit. But yeah, being prepared, like to where you can, boom, as soon as they say something that's an objection, turn it into an opportunity for you to move forward. And hopefully, it's in a win-win fashion. But like being quick with it, with the response is everything. Like no fumbling around, no nothing. Like, I don't know if I have time to look at this. It's like, oh man, I totally get that. I'm busy during the holidays too. I want to respect your time. So why don't we do this? Why don't we set a time when you're not busy so that we can both jump on the phone and give this the proper time that it needs. Being able to spit that out like, boom, is so much better than like fumbling around and then trying to force something that makes them feel awkward. Like, this salesperson's trying to push me into some shit I just told him I don't want to do, because I just told him I don't have time, and he sounds like he's not respecting that shit. Then they're instantly going to be like, fuck this guy. Yeah. Yeah. That it'll be helpful, man. And what it's going to do is it's going to put you in a position for the potential customer to respect you, because a lot of times, like when you're responding just on the fly, until you get the hang of it, you're going to say something that maybe doesn't resonate with them. But what, creating a sheet like that is going to do, it's going to every single objection that could that could come up, that could possibly come up. It's like, you're ready for it. It's like training defense in boxing or martial arts. You're ready for the punches that are about to be thrown at you. And instead of just coming up with something stupid that's like bulldozes what they just told you is important to them, it acknowledges what's important to them. And there's a formula to it too, where and you'll realize this in your sales training, that there is a correct formula for responding to shit like this. And there's a correct formula for, if you're, for instance, cold calling. It's like, if you get an objection, you have to acknowledge their objection, display respect for what it is that they're asking for respect on, and then coming up with a solution that gets you what you want, like an action item, call to action for them that moves you closer to the sale, as opposed to just trying to butt heads with whatever it is they're saying. You're respecting it, acknowledging it, and then coming up with some sort of solution that makes them feel respected, but also gets you closer to the sale. And having that shit just at the ready, I think you're gonna be good at it, dude. I think you're gonna be really good at it, because I know you're quick with it. And then just having those things in your back pocket, it's gonna make it easy for the customer to say yeah. And then I'll tell you what, and again, I don't know the boundaries of what it is that you're going to be doing for the inbound sales stuff, but dude, you should be saying stuff to them just to have the opportunity to follow through on it, if that makes sense. So instead of saying let's just set up an appointment or whatever, let me get your email so that I can send you an email for a Zoom call, or however it ends up being, another phone call, whatever. Instead of just saying that, it's like, after they give you the email, it's like, let me get your email so I can let me get you an email so I can send you a confirmation for the meeting that we're going to have. There's a difference between saying, if you don't mind, give me your email so I can send you a confirmation email so we can get it put on the schedule, and just give me your email so that we can get something scheduled. So I guess what I'm saying is, basically say all that stuff so that you can say what's going to happen next. And then when you follow through with that, they'll see you as a trustworthy person that follows through on what you say, if that makes sense. So yeah, so if you get the email and then you send a confirmation email, that's less powerful than saying you're going to send a confirmation email and then sending it. The way most customers, most people in general, see that process is if you're walking them through what's going to happen, and you do things exactly the way you say that you're going to do them, they're going to be like, okay, this guy's fucking on it. I can trust this guy. Because one of the biggest challenges with getting a sale from somebody that you don't know is they don't know if they can trust you. So you've got to create opportunities to prove that you're trustworthy, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to Johnny's. Well, you know what? If you say welcome to Johnny's, or if I were doing that, they would know they can trust the fuck out of me, because every time I say welcome to Johnny's, I shove a Twinkie in their mouth or something. They know they're going to get rewarded with trustworthy activity on my part, and I'm going to train them that way. Well, that's more you and Ben's thing for to say welcome to Johnny's at the list. I'll let you guys do that, and you can build the reputation so that anytime a customer calls you and you say that, they know that they're getting a Twinkie put in their mouth by you. Welcome to Johnny's. But yeah, honestly, I would love to see if you're able to share like the kind of sales training material they give you. Dude, I'll tell you what would be huge for your like position. I don't know if they probably do not do this at they do it at a higher level, like when you're doing, let's say corporate, like if you were doing like corporate accounts, probably having an account manager, that's where it's at. Like one of the biggest, like imagine calling Comcast or whatever and being like, hey, I'm interested in getting your services. And speaking to somebody that's like, let's say, on the, inbound sales team, and they say, hey, I'll tell you one of the biggest differences between, getting service through us and some of the other guys is you'll have my phone number. You can reach out to me directly. But even being able to do that with a dedicated customer support team is fucking huge because nobody has that. Everybody's like, dude, when you have to make a customer service call, it's like, I'm just like, I dread it because I'm like, I'm going to get bounced around 50 different departments and whatever. If I had one person to call, makes a huge difference. But yeah, I mean, obviously that'll be on the customer support team, but if you can use that as a, value for moving a Comcast or something, that would be huge. Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. It gets me a little amped up, dude, because I like selling shit. Mainly because I attach the sale with earning money. Like that's how I always looked at it. I was like, man, this is my lifeblood. I eat what I kill, so I'm looking to kill everything. And I'm sure that eventually, this is what I would guess is going to happen. You're going to do really well at the inbound sales job, and eventually, like if you wanted to move to a different team, they would. They're probably going to give you the opportunity to do that. Yeah, anyone could sell, but it's also one of the most highly regarded jobs in any industry. That's why they get paid what they get paid. Salespeople get paid a lot because not everybody can do it. But you're saying if you can speak properly, showcase insane customer service efficiency, yeah, but not everybody can do that. It's actually a really highly regarded skill because to get people to buy from you it is the lifeblood of the company for sure. You don't have salespeople, you don't have shit. Yeah, it's a super valuable skill to be able to get people to buy from you. But what I was saying is that I think eventually what's going to happen is, after you have, some experience under your belt, you'll probably be able to make any sort of lateral to like, positive trajectory movement that you want within reason. You know, like if you wanted to move to like inside sales for enterprise, for instance, that would probably be the like the you know the crown jewel of Comcast, like B2B inbound sales would be working with like, I mean, they have whole enterprise teams that, and then they kind of mesh inbound with outbound. But point is that I think eventually you could start making these kind of lateral to positive movements within the organization if you want to. All you got to do is be good at your job. And then once you figure out, oh, these guys are making X amount for commission, they're working with these types of people, I want to do that, you can probably make that request. Yes. I mean, I believe that too. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. Being able to display trustworthiness right off the bat, I think is a challenge for a lot of people. And I think there are a lot of people who, though they would be capable of it with repetition and training, so on and so forth, there are a lot of people that won't even take that initial step. Either A, because they don't see the tremendous amount of value in that, or their fear is greater than their motivation. Yeah. Yep. And that's another, you know, component of it. There are a lot of people that have it naturally. And yes, people can develop it over time. It just depends on if they want to or not, or if their fear is greater than their motivation. One way to develop it, oh man, and probably less and less these days, but do do some sort of sales job that requires you to knock on people's door or businesses' doors. Do that enough, and you'll get it. Also, to be honest, it's a really great way to develop your social skills for dating. You interact with enough people like that, you get really comfortable having conversations with people, and it'll make you a stud in the dating world. It's amazing what kind of that, like, even that skill set just giving you confidence. It's amazing the difference between confidence and no confidence in the dating world. You know, just being exposed to that kind of communication on a daily basis with strangers, not making you afraid to be genuine, makes a huge difference. Because you could say the same, you could have two guys that say the same exact thing to the same exact girl that get wildly different responses because one has confidence and one doesn't. One is socialized, one isn't. Yeah. Yeah, dating out there these days is a little weird. Well, I mean, not that I've done it, but what I'm imagining. You got so much emphasis on social media, and you know, girls have very, very sort of high expectations, which I guess, you know, creates a bigger disparity between the socialized guys and the unsocialized guys, you know, creates a big difference. But girls here lately have, and I think probably a lot of it has to do with the fact that, girls can make money with their looks, and, there's a lot of value placed on social media and so on and so forth, that I think guys probably this day and age have a harder time attracting the girls that they want than in the past. And I also think from a sort of behavioral standpoint, people are less socialized now because there's a larger reliance on technology and social media. People going out, like if you think about the amount of, like when I was a kid, for instance, the majority of the time I was outside playing with the neighborhood kids, like riding bikes, riding unicycles, you name it, playing football, playing basketball, whatever, doing activities outside versus, what I see with like my niece and nephew who are younger now. They spend a lot more time online and on social media and on YouTube and playing games than when I was a kid, which, leads to a less social environment, which then leads to, when it is time to socialize in the real world and to meet, potential dating partners, there's, bigger disparity between the masses as it relates to how socially capable they are. Yo, what's up? I'm guessing Christian Live. Mid-20s, bro. When I go places, I pay attention. I get better service compared to people around me at restaurants. Just unusual to have girls complimenting on random shit like my sunglasses, shoes, etc. I have no idea why, but it seems like they are putting themselves in my area literally, and I know because they never did that. It's probably has to do with the way you carry yourself, your personality. Confidence is a gravitational force, especially with guys. Or I should say, when the guy has the confidence and the girls are attracted to that. How you doing, Christian Live? Are you trading today? Or are you a graphic designer? Those are kind of those are my two guesses. Yeah, man, it's confidence that comes with it. Yes, but getting older is not the root cause of it. Yeah, it's for you. It might be experience, right? So, might yeah, you are getting older, but as you experience the world, you become more confident in being a genuine person. I think a lot of times that's what it is. So when you have a lot of people, if they, if you have that, extended experience, it allows you to have more confidence in who you are as a genuine person, and that will give you confidence. And then once you realize, like there's a feedback loop that comes with it too. So if you are able to see that being your genuine self gives you better results from a social dynamic standpoint, then it's going to give you more confidence to be genuine. And being genuine is probably one of the biggest factors as it relates to instant feedback from a social standpoint. Like if people can see that you're genuine, whether you're grumpy, whether you're, happy go lucky, whatever it is, if they can sense that you're genuine, a lot of other stuff kind of falls to the wayside. Because people can accept somebody that's grumpy but genuine, versus somebody that seems to be in a good mood but is fake, if that makes sense. So having experience with getting positive feedback on being genuine is probably one of the best reinforcements you can get as somebody that, desires to improve from a social standpoint. So that experience is a positive reinforcement loop that I would say builds on itself, maybe not exponentially, but you continue to give good feedback into something that is easy to do, like being genuine. And kind of once you understand that being genuine is more important than being fake and trying to be accepted, it then becomes easier to be genuine, which then, feeds itself, as opposed to something that goes against the grain, like being better at hiding your genuine emotions. Like that's an uphill battle. If you're trying to be better at hiding yourself, that's something where you're going to continue to get diminishing returns on as life goes on, versus like if you're living a life where you get a positive feedback loop on being genuine, that's a lot easier to strive to achieve, is becoming more and more genuine, more and more in line with your genuine self. That's the fucking secret sauce. Tell you what, I would be pretty happy to take on a side gig of being a dating coach. I think there's a lot of value for people to get that, and they don't have a lot of places to get it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that is either, because I guess I'd have to know more to be able to make a call on it. But yeah, I mean, the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, will play a huge factor. Coming into more of your own, having your own style versus trying to replicate somebody's style, I think a lot of times is going to give you better long-term results. Being comfortable in your own skin. Pretty huge. The world is fake, so people seek refuge with genuine people. Kind of like, and it's been a while since I've been on dates with people from like a dating app or just in real life or whatever. But it's almost like when you meet somebody, you're looking for where's the inconsistency here? Where is this person fake? And when you realize that somebody seems to be genuine, you're like, oh, thank God, like thank God, like there's somebody is real, and not just a fake piece of shit. Trying to cover who they are all the time. And, whatever, there's nothing wrong with people having insecurities, but kind of different when people put on a mask to hide those insecurities and end up being completely fake. I think there's a lot of fakeness with social media, online dating, people trying to hide this, that, and the other, makeup, just lying about stuff. It's like, so when you meet those genuine people, you're like, man, this is a breath of fresh air. Yep, close fitting makes a huge difference for sure. Dude, being 6'2", 6'3" would definitely help your odds. I mean, you got an instant advantage. What else seems to help is the more I don't think about girls, the more it seems they come. Yeah, I would just if I was single, I would just be careful about that mindset because it seems to be it could be a mindset that your brain uses as an excuse to not put effort in. Because in my opinion, if you really want to find the like really high quality people, you've got to intentionally seek them out. Like, for instance, I used to have some buddies that when we would go out, their priority with the night was to kind of sit in a corner and watch people and think that everybody's going to come to them. And in my opinion, that's the wrong way to look at it. You have to be extremely intentional. You've got to be bouncing around the whole place, making friends with everybody if you want to stand out. And if you want to attract the ones that you really want, that's how you're going to be. You're not going to be sitting in the corner and, they're going to come up to you and be like, hey, I just saw you sitting in the corner, hanging out by yourself, being creepy and watching everybody, and I just like your vibe. Nah, they're going to see the guy that's like bouncing around, making friends with everybody, showing confidence, showing social ability, and they're going to see that guy and be like, man, what the fuck? That guy, everybody likes that guy. That guy is really attractive to everybody. So I don't know. We might have different opinion on that. I think that like if you really, really want to find the one that you want that you're not going to be settling for, you gotta be playing. You gotta be playing hard, harder than everybody else. Not being disingenuous, but like you gotta be talking to everybody, including that girl, including all the girls, including all the guys. You gotta be talking to everybody. You gotta put a shit ton of effort in. If you want to get good results. So it's not like obsess about girls or whatever, but it's like, it takes skill if you want to attract the ones that you want. It takes a lot of skill, so you got to fucking sharpen that tool all the time. Right, but again, it's like you got to be careful about that mindset because that's reinforcing. I don't know what's the way to put it. Reinforcing inactivity. What you're doing in your brain subconsciously is saying that trying doesn't help. Not trying helps. Yeah, I don't know. I just, in general, I would kind of disagree with that kind of mindset, but we don't have to agree on everything. I just, here's the deal. If you want to stand out if you want to stand out to the person that you want to eventually attract, you have to work on that hard. Like, it's not effortless to be it's not effortless to be an attractive male. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So, yeah, focusing on yourself is a huge part of it. Getting the exposure you need is another huge part of it. actually interacting with and putting yourself in a position to rub shoulders with the people you want to attract is another, piece of it. But like, I don't know. What I don't like is the being too cool to put yourself out there. Yeah, but okay, so what is that? So what you said earlier though is like when you're not thinking about girls, you get more of a reaction. You get more girls that are chasing you. What you're saying here is that you're running on a path and you get stopped by girls. That isn't necessarily like mutually exclusive. Like that, I guess what I'm saying is that like running on a path and getting approached by girls is different from not putting any effort into thinking about girls or trying to attract girls or whatever. Yeah, expect to sit there alone for sure. But but I would take it as far to say though also is that like, well, maybe let me put it this way: if if I'm a single guy and like I do want to meet girls and I do want to attract the right type of girls, it takes some planning, it takes some intention, it takes some like gathering up the fucking boys to go out. It takes probably being on dating apps. It takes taking care of yourself, taking care of your finances, taking care of your looks, dressing the right way. So there's a lot of intention that goes with attracting the right type of female. I mean, I also do understand the concept of like maybe you could be seen as a try hard, right? Like if you seem desperate, and there are a lot of nuances I think that go into what that equation looks like, your input versus the output you get out. I think there are a lot of variables in that equation that can change it. But I think probably one of the most important aspects of it, at least as it relates to like me responding to what you said, is that you got to be careful about you got to be careful about what you're training your brain to do. And if you train your brain to think that you'll get better results by doing nothing or not making any effort, I think that's unhealthy. Yes. So that's, I mean, yeah. Of course, if you put energy into yourself, you're gonna be more attractive. But I think that's different from what you were saying earlier, which is when you don't think about girls, you get more attention. Because I think that can be misconstrued by, well, anybody listening to it or your brain into thinking less effort equals better results. Because had you said if I focus more, if I put more attention into self improvement, you get more attention from girls. It's a very different thing. I would have just been like, I fucking agree with that 100%. You look like shit and walk up to 1,000 girls will decline. And yeah, there's probably, I mean, there's probably a healthy debate in there as well. Cause like, for instance, if you you could put all the effort in the world into appearance and still be a guy that lacks confidence, that lacks genuine character. Yeah, no, I know, but I think there, there's, yeah, I mean, I think there's a healthy debate in there, on, where you're putting your energy, and if you focus too much on yourself and thinking that your success pivots on your appearance, that's the wrong mindset too. And I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying like if we're talking about this particular like if you could look like shit and walk up to 1,000 girls and they'll all decline. You put too much emphasis on what you look like, versus who you are, how you act, how you are genuinely, and what makes you a compelling person. That can prevent your progress as well. I don't know. I mean, I have I don't know. I would say probably a unique perspective on dating and socializing in general, as it relates to like self-improvement and what might be the norm and how my perspective might differ from what the norm is. Put a lot of focus on yourself and put yourself ahead of 80% of guys. The next step would be know how to talk, and then maybe yeah, so I mean, focus on yourself. I mean, and my take on it is that you could be a dirty, homeless looking dude, and yeah, you won't have as high of a chance of having success with girls as a guy that's not a dirty, homeless looking dude. But you could be a dirty, homeless looking dude with a hell of a fucking energy about you that would be attractive to girls. I mean, look at some of the guys that, attract some of the most beautiful women in the world. And a lot of times, maybe they aren't the best looking guy out there in the world, but they have something like something about them that speaks to people's genuine attraction for genuine people that express themselves, honestly. So I guess I don't know. I mean, there's a balance to it, but I do think that one of the most important things for guys to do is beyond style, beyond cleanliness, beyond all that. Even though those are important, is to genuinely have the ability to be a real fucking person, be a real person in a conversation, to have confidence. Obviously not to be a weak, individual, because I think that's one of the quickest ways to kill attraction is to be a man that does what all the other cucks do out there, as weak men do, is put girls on a pedestal and put that girl's appearance over pretty much everything else that's going on in their life. Like as a guy, being able to interact with girls that are of that caliber and being able to say no, or not give them everything they want, not to do that intentionally to attract them as some sort of game, but to be able to do that as a human being shows that you are not a weak person. So anyway, getting a little off topic here, but I think on the priority scale, being genuine and being able to display that is probably number one. Having a sense of humor honestly is way up there as well. Well, having money is also up there as well, but you don't want to get stuck in the mindset to think that the only way that people are going to get girls is to have money. There are plenty of people that attract like really high quality women that do it without money. Now, very often it will happen that girls will go with the guys with money because it's easy, and those are probably not the girls you want to go with. You want to go with the girls that will be with you when you're flat broke. But money is obviously a cheat code for everything, not just women. Well, it happens. And the way it happens and the way that you'll find genuine relationships is by not relying on money to be that cheat code. Yes. Could you get it done with the money? Yeah, you can. But more often than not, you will attract the wrong type of people with money. Well, all you have to do is talk to girls about their ex-boyfriends, and you'll find that many of them found that they, previously like they dated a guy that maybe couldn't get out of a slump or whatever the fuck it was, and they didn't have the right qualities eventually. But having money was not a prerequisite for them to be in a relationship with them. But eventually, if that guy is not able to get out of a rut or whatever the case may be, that is a reflection on that guy's character. Yeah, X. And so what I'm saying is, like, if you want a shot at being with a girl, you don't have to have money. But if you display the kind of characteristics that show that you were a weak man and can't get out of your own shit, that's a different story. And also, you gotta really like think about what you're saying here. Is that like the nines and tens? They don't pick an ugly guy that's broke, which is take the opposite end of the spectrum of what you're saying, and that's saying that those nines and tens are only going to go for guys with money, and that's a really dangerous mindset to be in. And that is not true. What we're talking about is attraction. If you want a shot with a 9 or 10, you don't have to be rich. You might see that because it's the easy fallback thing to say that you got to have money to have the girl, but it's not true. It's not true at all. You want a shot with that girl, you have to be genuine. You probably have to have a good sense of humor. Money will surely do it, but it doesn't mean it's a prerequisite. And again, do you even want to be with girls that only look at money as a prerequisite? No. And money is and the way girls look at guys is, they see money as it's almost like a form of validation. Okay, this guy's got his shit together. Okay, this guy has resources, which, like, you look at like caveman days, right? And women are attracted to the guys who have social status and resources because it helps their survivability. Sure, but saying that you can't get a 9 or 10 if you don't have money is like that's death for personal growth. Well, I'm referring to when you said no, what I'm saying is I've not found a lot of super 9-10 women who have picked an ugly guy who is broke. That's the same thing as saying that 9-10 women only pick rich people. So I'm only referring to that statement. And again, the 8+ pick guys who have either have money, status. All like one of those three. Yeah, extremely funny. Yep, that's on the list. Good looks. Yep, they'll do that to you. Status. Yep, they'll do that. Yep, they'll do money. Yeah, of course they will. But my whole conversation was based on saying you've not found a lot of super 9-10 women who've picked an ugly guy who is broke. And what I'm saying is that more than being the ugly guy or who is broke, a lot of times those girls are looking for somebody who's fucking genuine, and they might be broke and they might have a dream, that they're looking to fulfill. And if they're going after that dream, that's going to be more important than them being ugly or broke. Yeah, we're just chatting. Okay, sure. But I mean, getting back to the point, like that I was arguing initially, not thinking about girls and having more progress or having more girls come up to you, I think that's a dangerous mindset. And then also, in addition to that, I think having the mindset that 9 or 10, women won't pick an ugly guy or is broke. I think those are both like kind of victim-based mentalities. And yes, money, status, good looks are extremely funny, drastically improve your odds. But let's say you don't have money. Let's say you don't have status. Let's say you don't have good looks. And let's say you're not funny. That doesn't mean you don't either work on getting those things, put yourself out there, or that you can't derive value out of being, let's say, just an ambitious person. Maybe you don't have money yet, but you're ambitious. That's valuable. Maybe you're, great socially, but you don't have social status. That is a good thing. And maybe you're not extremely funny, but maybe you have a good sense of humor. That's a good thing as well. And being good looking is genetics, and maybe you're not going to have good looks, but there is a huge element of attractiveness outside of just good looks, and I'm talking most specifically from a female looking at a male perspective. From male to female, it's almost all physical. No, I know. 9 or 10s. We'll pick somebody with those four. Yeah, it's most likely that they will. That's not what I was arguing. I was arguing with the ugly guy who's broke, and I was arguing with that's essentially what I was saying, but you were saying the opposite previously. And you were also saying that you get better results when you don't put effort into thinking about girls or whatever. That's what I was arguing with. Yeah, but do you see where the guy that eventually loses steam and quits trying, she will leave 99% of the time? Do you see how like that is a display of that guy's character? Yeah, if you're funny or good looking, you'll have a chance. You could be ugly and broke, funny, good looking, and still get the girl. Yeah, 100%. Well, yeah, if you didn't go in depth, I mean, I was arguing with your statements, not with your whole perspective, because I don't know the whole perspective. But based on your statements, I think it was a valid argument that I had against it. If we're playing debate, the debate game. Gavin, you're saying I should stream Ark? You're trying to hop on, huh? Man, looking in hindsight here, look, I mean, this is quite the little slow moving move we had today. We're at 24,900, like 500 points. Well, 400 points. Yeah. Well, I mean, if we're having a healthy debate, I can only debate what is being said. But yes, you're definitely at a disadvantage here because you're typing it out too. So I'm not holding it against you. I was only just, having a counter argument against just the statements. That's all. But basically, let me summarize my perspective, and then whatever we don't have to continue talking, carrying on the dating show. But my perspective is that number one, having a viewpoint that somehow can be summed up by putting less effort in gives you more results out is a lot of times a weak mindset that leads to training your brain for whatever reason, for convenience, or because it's the path of least resistance, or because of fear. And I'm not saying that's your perspective. I'm just saying in general that having a perspective that can be summarized by less input equals better output a lot of times has that sort of foundation that's based on a weak mindset or a fearful mindset. So that would be number one. And number two, having a mindset that, like, Brad Pitt's always going to be like that's the fucking catch. All women are going to think that guy's the catch. But having the mindset that good looks, money, status is the only way to achieve 9 or 10s is also a weak mindset. And it's also an unhealthy mindset because there are plenty of ways to improve as a human being to be attractive by the opposite sex. And I would say girls have it harder than guys because for girls, it's very, very narrow. Like, guys are going to find the girls the most desirable that are physically attractive. But a lot of times there will be guys that have other character traits that are extremely attractive to girls that don't fit into that typical stereotypical archetype. Yeah, Gavin, I like that. I mean, you got to be you. And if the more you're not you, the more repulsed people will be. I mean, I guess what I'm really saying, Adam, is like, dude, you're gonna be loved as you are. You don't need to get plastic surgery to look like Brad Pitt or anything. You'll find a 10. I'm kidding, dude. I'm belaboring I'm belaboring the fucking argument. Dude, I think we're on the same fucking page. You can be funny. You'll get the 10. You don't want those fucking perceived 10s that are only in it for the money. So, like, if those girls aren't going to be attracted to you or me or Gavin or anybody else for that matter, it's probably a blessing. Yeah, don't lie. You're pressing gayness for Brad Pitt. Yeah, man. New topic. Yeah, you're wanting to play Arc Raiders. I'm guessing that's the new topic you're trying to take it. I'm definitely down. I'm gonna see since we just got back in town. I want to see if because Lacey's here, she's probably cleaning up right now. I want to see if she needs help with anything first, Gavin, and if she does, I'll probably help her out. Yeah, you're battling emotions over your trades this morning? What's going on? Yeah, I would also be down to play some Fortnite too. I mean, that was fun too. So your entries are shit, and so you're getting emotional. Being right on the direction is a lot more important than being right on the entry. Like, yeah. Dude, streaming games is not my thing. Adam, it could be your thing because you're fucking, you're killing people left and right. People don't want to watch people getting sprayed in the fucking face every time. Dude, like if we were, I'll tell you what, Adam. I don't know if you've watched enough Arc Raiders to see it, to see like how entertaining that shit would be. But like having the proximity chat on Arc Raiders, it creates some really funny potential moments where you can really kind of talk shit to people. And people get really upset when they die in Arc Raiders because they're losing their hard-earned gear, not just for the game, but that they've been accumulating. But if we do play Arc Raiders, yeah, I'm down to stream it. I'll stream it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go check on Lacey here in a second, see how she's doing, if she needs any help. If you're trying to be more patient with your entry, you're gonna probably have to come up with something that's like systematic. When you're thinking, I'm gonna enter here, you probably need to have something systematic that says that creates a gap between when you want to enter and when you actually want to enter. So like more thought process going into where's my stop gonna go, and then now when you plan out your stop loss, you have to like, okay, say, well, I might be down to miss more moves to get better entries by putting my entry where I put my stop loss, and you will miss more entries. But you might have to have some sort of mechanical systematic process that requires that. And then it's about discipline, because you're the one that ultimately has to put the position out there. It's either that or you decide that you're going in at a smaller amount and you can try it twice. Funny enough, you find that greed and fear are often intertwined. But I don't know, to psychoanalyze why you do what you do is probably going to take some deep diving on yourself, and I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, there's some kind of like general behavioral stuff that I could probably talk to you about, but you're going to have to observe what the hell's going on in your brain, and to figure out what's going on if you got fear or greed going on. From what I've seen in your trading, you definitely have some symptoms of greed. I think we all do, but based on kind of the FOMO emotions you have, the frustrations you have, a lot of times that can be driven by greed. Like if you weren't taking a lot of entries, like if you were very selective about your entries and like you hardly ever take any trades, I might say, well, you might want to look into the fear side of things because you're hesitating. But you don't seem to be hesitating. You tend to be probably taking entries that you get frustrated about. So that I would at least lean toward, exploring the greed side of your personality. But again, it's like when I say that a lot of times they can be intertwined, you might have like that greed that might be showing up on the charts might actually be fear, because you have either a fear of missing out, or you have fear in the form of a reaction to desperation based on your income situation, right? So a lot of times they're intertwined. Yeah. Yeah, you might want to try that, see how it works out too. All right. I think I'm gonna close it up for now, but I'll hit you guys up on Discord. I'm gonna go check on Lacey, see if there's anything I can help her with. And then, yeah, I'll be back. All right, boys. I'll catch you in a little bit. Dr. Love signing out today. All right, I'll hit you guys up in a little bit. Peace out.